everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something really special. Ken Honda's amazing book, True Wealth. Now, this isn't just a story, it's a guide to what it really means to live a rich life. And it all kicks off with, well, a pretty strange inheritance. So, picture this. Your millionaire grandfather passes away. You're probably expecting a hefty inheritance, right? But instead of a bank account, you get this. Just a message. This is the mystery that sets everything in motion. See, it's not about inheriting cash, but something way, way more valuable.
And this is where we meet our main character, Key. He's just a 20-year-old college student, kind of drifting, you know? He's struggling with his family, has no idea what he wants to do with his life. Sound familiar? I think we've all been there. And these 9 letters from his grandfather, well, they're about to turn his entire world upside down.
All right, so here's the plan. We're going to follow Key's journey as he opens these letters one by one. And inside each one is a secret to a rich life that his grandfather learned over 80 years. The cool part is, he only opens a letter when his gut, his intuition, tells him it's the right time.
And look at the topics here. These letters cover pretty much everything, don't they? We start with some pretty mystical-sounding stuff, you know, synchronicity, intuition, but then it gets super practical. We're talking money, work, failure, relationships, and it all builds up to the biggest lesson of all, how to actually choose your own destiny.
Okay, let's get into it. The first few lessons are all about learning to see the world in a totally new way. It's about realizing that those things we brush off as just a coincidence, they might actually be the universe tapping you on the shoulder, giving you a little nudge.
So the very first concept Key has to wrap his head around is this idea of synchronicity. It's basically saying that things that look like random coincidences are, well, not so random. They're actually meaningful, connected pieces of a puzzle, all guiding us toward happiness. It's really a call to just pay a little more attention. You know?
And this is a perfect example. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, they were childhood friends who completely lost touch. Then, years later, bam, they randomly bump into each other at a train station. Now, they could have just said, "Hey, good to see you," and moved on. But they didn't. They saw something in that moment, acted on it, and the rest is rock and roll history. See? The magic isn't the coincidence itself, it's in recognizing the opportunity inside of it.
Now, you can't talk about synchronicity without talking about its partner, intuition. The grandfather's advice is simple. Think of your intuition as your own personal GPS. It's that gut feeling, right? That little voice inside that says, "Yep, go for it," or, maybe pump the brakes. Trusting that voice is absolutely crucial for following the path that synchronicity is trying to show you.
Okay, so seeing the path is one thing, but actually walking it, that's a whole different ballgame. So the next set of letters shifts gears. We go from just trusting the flow to actively shaping it. Key gets the tools to literally build his own future, and it all starts with the incredible power of making one single decision.
And this right here, this is a total game changer. The grandfather explains that making a decision isn't just picking between option A or option B. No, it's an act of creation. The second you truly, firmly decide something, you create a brand new circuit, a connection between where you are now and that future you just chose. You literally start pulling that future towards you.
But here's a trap the book warns us about, and it's a big one. It's the good enough trap. It's so easy to just pick from the safe options right in front of us, isn't it? The good enough job, the good enough life. But true wealth, the grandfather argues, comes from aiming for your best possible future, even if you can't quite see it yet. It takes imagination, it takes a real leap of faith.
So as Kay's on his journey, he meets this incredible mentor, one of his grandfather's old friends named Mr. Sumpchai. And he drops this absolute gem of wisdom about failure. And it's totally backwards from what we're taught. He basically reframes failure not as something to be scared of, but as something you should actually celebrate. And that's the key takeaway right there. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a requirement for success. It's not a detour. It's a required stop on the map. I mean, think about it. You can't climb a mountain without slipping a little, right? The only way to truly fail is to stop trying. All right,
Next up, the letters dive into the three huge pillars that pretty much define our lives: money, work, and relationships. But here's the thing, they tackle them in a way that's gonna challenge everything you thought you knew about being rich, happy in your job, and truly connected to people. Let's start with money. And let's talk about John D. Rockefeller. At one point, he was the richest man on the planet, and yet he gave away more than $500 million. That's an insane amount of money, even now. So why would he do that? Because he learned a very tough lesson. Piling up cash and finding actual happiness are two completely different things. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here it is, straight from Rockefeller himself. This quote just hits so hard, doesn't it? It perfectly captures one of the book's biggest ideas. True wealth has nothing to do with how much you have in the bank. Money is a tool, it's an energy, but it can't, by itself, buy you joy. Okay, let's talk about work. Why are so many of us unhappy from 9 to 5? Well, the grandfather boils it down to these three simple things. And notice, it's rarely about the actual job duties. It's all about the fit. Does it fit your natural gifts? Does the way you work feel fun to you? And are the people you work with lifting you up? And that brings us to the last pillar, and maybe the most important one of all, relationships. And this isn't just some feel-good idea. It is backed by some serious science. A Harvard study that ran for 75 years, I mean, think about that, asked one simple question: what makes a good life? And the answer couldn't have been clearer. Good relationships. That's it. They keep us happier and healthier, period. End of story. So, after all of that, we finally arrive at the 9th and final letter. This is the big one. It ties everything we've learned together and gives Key, and all of us really, the most powerful lesson about our place in the universe. And here's the grandfather's last big idea. It's the difference between fate and destiny. Think of it like this. Fate is the hand of cards you're dealt in life. You don't choose your family or where you're born, that's fate. But destiny is how you play that hand. It's the life you decide to create with the cards you've been given. And this is his final message, his last plea, not just to Key, but to everyone. It's such a powerful call to action. It's about hope, but it's also about responsibility. The message is clear. Don't just float through life letting things happen to you. You have to break free from the gravity of your fate and choose to create your own destiny. So, we followed Key all the way from being lost and confused to finding this incredible clarity. And the book leaves us with one final thought. It turns the question back on us. It's not just about Key's journey anymore. It's about ours. So after hearing all this, the question really is, what does true wealth mean to you?